Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Now, this is the TAMA and chart analysis for April, 4th or 5th, 2022. So right now we have like one big kind of like indicator that we actually might reach in a couple of weeks, and that is the golden cross. Now, of all the TA indicators, this is the one that is by far, I see, the most touted. Golden cross, death cross, those are two things that like pretty much everyone in TA actually knows. And that is a death cross is when the 50 EMA actually goes below the 200 EMA, and the golden cross is the other way around, when the 50 EMA rises above the 200 EMA. Now, in terms of where we are right now, if you look at it, the 50 EMA is at 42,894. The 200 EMA is at 44,836. The thing is, we are right now at 46,773, which means we're above the 50 and the 200 EMA. So if we actually stay the course right now, the 50 EMA will increase much, much faster than the 200 EMA. So therefore, in probably a few weeks, the 50 EMA will be above the 200 EMA if we can maintain this specific price. Now, if we go up even further, it will approach the 200 EMA even faster. Now, a lot of times these golden crosses and death crosses tend to be lagging indicators. I think the death cross tends to be more lagging than the golden cross for the most part. But this could definitely happen within the month of April, which could cause a May pump. I think like when people see that technical indicator, even people who don't really understand what TA really is, they hear these buzzwords like golden cross and death cross, and they make their actions basically based on those things. So I think this will definitely get some buzz in that kind of direction. Whether that's good enough for trading, I'll let you decide on that, but that can definitely happen. And that's why the golden cross could be a very significant factor going into late spring and into early summer. We could actually get a fairly bullish May because of that. In terms of the overall graph right now, basically on the weekly, we're pretty much slightly positive because I think the pump kind of started a little bit more over a week ago. As you can see, bottoms are going up. Tops are sort of going up, but not really. But overall, we're around the $47,000 marker. I think the overall trend line is actually going up on the daily. On the monthly, it's definitely going up. The actual pump sort of started back in mid-March, and it's actually been going up and kind of hit a stalling point around the 27th of March. Now, a lot of this actually I think has been Terra Luna buying. I actually do think he's buying on the spot market. He just has set up to buy a couple hundred coins at certain times. And we're wondering when the next batch of buys will actually be. Do Kwon, obviously, we don't really know what he's truly going to do, but rumor is he has about 1.5 billion of the total 10 billion that he intends to buy. Now, he could actually force the 200 EMA, 50 EMA to cross the 200 EMA by his buys, but I don't think he really wants to do that until he's accumulated a lot of his Bitcoin. He probably wants to accumulate most of that Bitcoin before it starts pumping up. So he might be tapering off his buys a little bit so he can actually buy more over a longer time period at a cheaper price. Because if he just buys directly, it's going to go up to 60, 70,000, and then he'll have to buy at a much more expensive price. So there could be some strategy in his buying. So that's kind of what we are right now. I think overall it is still going to be up. I think anytime Bitcoin dips some, I do think he is going to buy it up because he wants something like $10 billion for Terra Luna's treasury, and he wants to be the biggest Bitcoin holder, beating out Michael Saylor there actually is. So he probably isn't going to buy all the 10 billion all at once. He's probably going to taper it out. After it dips a little, he's probably going to buy back in. So it'll be a very, very staggered and slow rise up rather than a sudden rise up. Of course, he could trigger at any point and we could have a fast rise up, but I really don't think he wants to buy it above 60,000. He'd probably rather buy in this $46,000, $47,000 range. So that's kind of what I have for right now. On the technical analysis, the oscillators are neutral. Nothing's overbought or oversold. It's all neutral. The exponential moving average for the 10 is actually on a sell. The simple moving average on the 10 is actually on a sell as well, which is kind of weird because I think this is actually wrong. I think this should be actually buy because the EMA and the SMA for the 10 are both right now under the current price. So I actually think this graph actually has it wrong. Everything else is buy as well, all the way down to the 200. So right now we are still on a positive trajectory, and I think overall I would agree with a positive trajectory right now. Because of Do Kwon's buys, the war is sort of winding down, but not really. Russia actually might intensify its operations in eastern Ukraine, but it's like basically pulled out of western Ukraine. It'll take forever for the Ukrainians to actually rebuild, though, and I think gas prices will remain high. So there's going to be certain like fears that people actually have. That doesn't mean they won't ape into like if Bitcoin is going to an all-time high, but there is like certain fears about inflation, about the economy that could actually have them holding back. So on the weekly, once again, we're buy all the way down to the SMA of the 30. The 50 is also buy, and the rest are also buy. So the thing is, like the oscillators are still neutral on the weekly. Nothing's overbought or oversold, but the moving averages are definitely strong buy. And once again, it really depends on when Do Kwon actually decides to stagger his buys. If he decides to stagger over a very long period of time, most likely we're going to remain between 45 and 50,000. And eventually that 200 EMA, the 50 EMA will rise above the 200 EMA. And that's really what I'm actually waiting for. That could actually trigger a bull run, but he might actually want to buy a lot of Bitcoin before that bull run actually happens. If that happens, a lot of shorts are going to liquidate, which would push us up even further. I'm looking towards possible 50, 60,000 by sometime in May. That is probably the best case scenario. In terms of the monthly, yes, the oscillators are still all neutral. And basically, the EMA is at a buy, the SMA is still at a sell. But right now, I would say like monthly is definitely on a buy, especially for April and May. Past May, I'm not really sure, but up until May, I would definitely say it is a buy. I think the market's looking pretty good up until then. Like I said, I don't really know how fast or slow he's going to actually buy the Bitcoin. He still has about $8.5 billion left to buy, but he might actually stagger it out, and he might stagger it out into the summer. But if he can actually push us past 50,000, I think that could be a starting point for an early summer rally. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.